Hi everyone, Lewis here, and today I'm going to bring you guys some more DayZ Standalone news, and we've got some pretty big stuff today, talking about the release date, which I'm going to do at the end of the video. But before that, Rocket also streamed once again for 4 hours or so on the 13th of December, showing off some more new stuff, and also that has something to do with the release date being not confirmed. They haven't said it's going to be coming out on a specific day, but there's a lot of reasons to believe that it is coming out super soon. And I know I've said before it is coming out soon. That was speculation, like logical speculation. But this isn't just speculation, this is actual facts. And these facts make me and a lot of people have a good idea as to when it is going to be coming out. But anyway, before I talk about the release date, it's time to go over the stuff which Rocket's showing off in the stream. Like I said, it was rather long. So as usual, I'll give you guys the highlights of the stream in case you don't have 4 hours to go through it all. The main focus for this stream, although Rocket doesn't really start his streams with any real direction, was simply exploring and showing areas of the map which we haven't seen before. Almost a year ago now, we're seeing screenshots on the DayZ Standalone blog showing the new hospital area, the military compound, and also the swamp areas, but we finally got to see all of those in person, and most of those we haven't seen before. I think maybe the hospitals we might have seen at a certain angle, but we've never seen Rocket actually go inside them in a video. So on the screen right now, you can see all of those new areas in the order I listed them. Of course, first off, shown the hospital. It's got the directions at the bottom of it. It's nothing really mind-blowing, but when you think about the amount of new enterable buildings in DayZ Standalone compared to Arma 2, it's definitely going to be a big deal with all the close quarter fights, and it will actually give a lot of areas around the map which didn't have a purpose of going to them a reason to go and loot them, because I mean, survival is going to be a lot bigger of a deal in this than it is really in the DayZ mod, or at least that's what we're seeing in the past few streams. It's actually hard to survive, whereas mostly in the DayZ mod right now, people just go around PvPing, but these kind of small items you will have to go around and check for. Small things like batteries are things you will actually have to find, otherwise, for example, at nighttime, which is something Rocket's showing off in the stream as well, you're kind of going to be completely blind because it's pitch black. I'll show you guys some nighttime in a second, but you can see the military area on your screen right now. This place is, I believe, north of Kamenka in the middle of a forest where there was nothing there before. So obviously the map changes. I've said it time and time again, but in case you haven't seen those videos already, this map changes all over Chernarus, whether it be the new apartments around Chernigorsk or the new admirable buildings in Electro or the Northwest Airfield. There's so many areas we haven't seen the changes for before. But there's a lot of these new areas and customized areas which you will find around the map, which, like I said, will actually have a purpose. And you would have also seen on the screen right now, Hicks was showing off some parkour around the military compound, being able to jump from one roof to another, and also the possibility of actually jumping through a broken window. So those multiple ways of getting into buildings are again going to improve the close quarter combat situations and allow you really to make advantage of an area which you know really well, know all of the quirks around that area. And then the final zone is the swamps. So I'm not sure how many of these there is going to be around the map. Maybe this is the only one that there is. But this is just east of Kamenka, I believe. And you can see there's a house in the middle of it. To be honest, it isn't really too functional. There's not really too much of a reason to go there. But having these new biomes around the map, I'm sure no one's going to complain about those. And it does open up the possibility of having a lot more of these different biomes around the map in the future. Why the hell not? It mixes things up, and you could have some interesting battles here, just as you could with the close quarter combat and all the new buildings around Chernarus. And I also just remembered there's actually two of these new and improved military compounds. One is completely new, which is the one in the middle of the forest, and then there's also the revamped one, which is just beside the Balota airfield. So the first screenshot you would have seen was the Balota one, and the second one was showing off the new one, which is north of Kamenka. So now on to the nighttime gameplay. If you guys have ever played the DayZ mod, you'll probably know why people don't tend to record and upload footage of nighttime in the Arma 2 DayZ mod, and also you don't tend to see too many streams on it because it just kind of sucks. And Rocket wanted to show off nighttime because I've had actually quite a lot of improvements with it. So having something like a flashlight on a pistol, which of course you can take on and off in the standalone, which is something you can't do in the DayZ mod, weapon customization, it just looks so much better. Being able to have a flashlight on your pistol, you actually might want to play on a nighttime server. And since it's all going to be on the same hive, whereas on the DayZ mod, there's loads of these private hives now, which is something we're going to try to eliminate, at least for the start of the DayZ Standalone. You might just be forced to play at nighttime. Or I guess you could just go on a different server, but I'm not really sure 100% how it's going to work. But of course, you're able to turn your flashlight on and off. Like I mentioned, that will actually use batteries along with your red dot. You can see on the screen, or you've probably seen it already, but Rocket does also have a red dot on his pistol, which is pretty cool. Again, something you can't do in the DayZ mod. And you also actually shown off a lantern, although it was a bit bugged, so I'm not going to show you guys that on screen. But there is going to be a lot of different ways to light up your area if you do play at nighttime. Right now it's not flares in, but I know there's a flashlight which can hold, a flashlight for a pistol, the lantern, a headlamp, and I'm not sure about any else, but I'm sure there is going to be night vision goggles, flares, and chem lights, all that kind of stuff added eventually into the standalone. As just Rocket mentioned actually in the stream, if we're going to add something, we want to do it well. So being able to throw any item is something we really want implemented before we do add in the possibility to get flares. So eventually you will be able to throw a banana off someone, or at least I hope. The only other thing of interest I found while watching his stream was he did show off the Mosin. Of course, we have seen the Mosin in some footage before. In fact, even like, I think 6 months ago was a screenshot of a Mosin, but this is the first time you've seen it in Rocket's hands, and he shows off a beautiful 3D scope. The 3D scopes are a common theme across all the items, since you are able to put ACOGs and differently magnified scopes on a lot of different weapons. It is going to be a really cool part of the game, and something, of course, again, comparing to a mod, you don't have that. Eventually, Rocket, I think, mentioned last stream, he just wanted to have a blur around the scope, so that way it isn't going to be so it draws the same scene twice. It's not like you're going to have a scope, and then around the scope, you're going to have a normal look, so you're able to have your peripheral vision. Instead, it's just going to be a zoom in, and then around the zoom in, there's going to be a blur. So that way, it won't be as FPS intensive, and as a whole, I can't complain. It looks really good, and it actually reminds me a lot of Armor 3 scopes. Other than that, nothing else really new was shown. Rocket did mention in the next stream he does want some kind of plan, but there is a lot more items which Rocket just hasn't shown for standalone, such as the walkie-talkie he didn't show because he didn't have two. There's the radios which Rocket shown off ages ago, but there's a lot of cool things in the game, items which just didn't exist in the DayZ mod, which are in now, and it's just right now we didn't get the chance to show them off while streaming. I would highly recommend checking out the full gameplay footage, because there was 2 or 3 instances maybe of Rocket coming across some bandits, which obviously aren't too common since we are just mostly trying to test the servers. But you can see right here, this is actually a video of one time at night time when Rocket was just chilling out, reading the chat or something like that. He clearly wasn't watching his screen, and then all of a sudden he goes back and says, what the hell just happened? That guy just died right in front of me. So there was a lot of cool things that happened in the stream involving people getting shot at, but nothing really we haven't seen before. Of course, shooting someone, they're going to get shot and then they're going to fall over and die. But Rocket did mention actually that in the future he wants it so that when you get killed, you instantly lose all of your hearing. So if, for example, you're with a squad and one of your squad mates gets shot in the head and you're not paying attention, then tough shit, you're not going to know where the hell you got shot from. I'll leave a link to a full VOD in the description below if you do want to go watch through all of that. Like I said, I would recommend it very much. So anyway, on to the thing which I talked about at the start, which is the release date. So I'm not confirming anything. Like I said, it's something which I and many people believe because it makes perfect sense. And Rocket actually had 2 instances in the stream where he said certain things which made this belief become a thing. The first thing was when Rocket was asked which year it would come out in, he didn't deny it definitely wasn't going to come out in 2013. Rocket, I'd assume, knows what year it is. It's 2013, Rocket, if you didn't know already. And he didn't say it wasn't coming out in 2013, and I'm sure if he had no hope at all of it coming out this year, he would have said that. He does definitely want it pushed out before Christmas. It would be good for Bohemia sales, and also it would make people happy because it has been kind of hyped up for a long time. Rocket saying almost, well, I'd imagine it's over 2 months ago when Rocket said it was on its last lap. Rocket confirmed that they fixed all of the big bugs which were stopping them from pushing out the game. In fact, right at the start of the stream, he also said there was a bug which really broke the game. I think it was something to do with items disappearing, which they have fixed. And while he was streaming, they were kind of testing to make sure that was working all good. So every single big bug which we've had, like, well, not really a bug, but the network bubble, and then we had the doppelganger issue last week, and then this week we had an issue with items. All that stuff is out of the game. And now it's just a case of making sure it all works. And then Rocket has said before, it would take about 10 minutes to push out a game if you wanted to make it live on Steam. So just to make sure all that stuff works, and then kaboom, you've got it on Steam. And Rocket did also mention, just before the stream, that he did take some screenshots for the DayZ store page. So you might have noticed that this looks really nice, this footage, because it was the first time Rocket recorded it at 1080 in, I'd imagine, mostly full graphics. But again, this adds to the whole it's coming out soon thing because he took screenshots for the DayZ store page. I mean, if you're not near the end of the development cycle, why would you take screenshots for a DayZ store page? The second thing Rocket did, which was kind of spilling the beans, was that he said this.
But no one's forcing people to come in. The designers, well, I said to them today, it was like, God, what time are we coming in tomorrow? And I was like, look, we're trying to lock the...
So you might be wondering, what the hell did he say? Well, what many people think he said was that they were locking down a build, or at least that's what he was going to say, but he didn't actually say any words because he realised that if he said that, then it would be pretty obvious that it was coming out soon, and of course he doesn't want to end up disappointed, so he never tries to really build up people's hope and then disappoint, because disappointing people isn't too good as a game dev. So, if they are locking down a build, which it seems like they are, they're no longer improving the zombies, they're not adding more stuff to the game, but just making sure they've got a stable build, then that again adds to the evidence of the game coming out super duper soon. And then on top of that, the CEO of Bohemia Interactive, which are of course developing the DayZ Standalone along with Rocket, Maruk, he tweeted out this image right here, which as you can see in the top left, I know it's super low res, but it says Early Access Alpha. Of course, that's what they're aiming for, to get the DayZ Standalone as an early access game on Steam, so then they've got all of the Steamworks functionality, and also it's got the Steam page, which is something I just talked about, having the screenshots for the Steam page, and need that to make it live. So it all makes sense, and the tweet which he said was, am I good or am I good? Basically, he's pretty good. Disappointment is still a possibility. I'm not saying this is 100% coming out, but again, I'm just going off of facts. It makes perfect sense for it to come out very, very soon. Like, in fact, I'd imagine within this week. Christmas is just around the corner, so they definitely want to push it out before Christmas, like I said, for sales, and also so that people are just happy. If it's pushed back to 2014, that's just not going to be very good for DayZ Standalone. And also, you might have seen this already, I'll have all the stuff in the description below as proof, in case you for some reason think I'm lying to you. But if you go on Game Tracker, they've actually got just over 150 servers up and running in various locations around the world, in Asia, in the Netherlands, in the UK, Germany, the US, Australia, New Zealand, loads of servers all over the world, and there's about 160 of them up right now, and there's more and more being added like every single day. I mean, this doesn't, again, necessarily mean it's definitely coming out, but that's a lot of servers. In case you can't do the maths, I'll go ahead and open up my calculator and times 50 by 160. That's 8,000. Why did I not just do that in my head? I'm just kidding, I did do it in my head. So, that's a lot of slots for people to play on. If it did go live right now, I'm sure they could have more servers set up. They've got a lot of relations with certain game hosts, like Valia is pretty much the only one I can think of right now, but we've got relations with people all over the world doing servers, so we can just say, like, can we get some more servers, and boom, they have got those servers. So 8,000 for the initial launch doesn't sound too bad at all, really. And it also does bring up a question of how many people are actually going to play it when it first comes out. Since it's going to be exclusive to Steam, what's the number going to be on the Steam stats page when it comes out? I don't know, but 8,000, that seems like a decent starting point. 8,000 might not sound like a lot, although it probably does sound like a lot. It's definitely more than enough for the initial release, and if we do need more, then, like I said, we can just say we need more servers. I mean, if we wouldn't have over 150 servers up and running, that's a lot of money, in case you guys were wondering how much these servers cost. I mean, the 50 slot servers, I'm sure these guys are getting some kind of money in their back pocket. They wouldn't have these servers up for no reason. So quickly before I end, I thought I'd go over this evidence supporting the game coming out within the week. So of course we've got the 150 plus servers that are up and running, waiting for people to join them right now. The DayZ store page is pretty much up and running, well, not up and running, but it's done, I'd imagine, since Rocket was taking screenshots just before he did start a stream. The CEO tweeted out showing the screenshot of the DayZ early access, and you'll also notice that the build version is actually very close, if not similar. I'm not 100% right now, but it was the same as one of the dev builds, so we're just trying to make a stable build, and that's what the devs are testing right now. And also, Rocket avoided the question of which year is it going to be coming out in, and on top of that, Rocket also almost spilled the beans, saying that they are locking down a build. The devs have been awful quiet the past 2 weeks or so, and they're clearly working their arses off for a release before Christmas. So, like I said, disappointment is still a possibility, but the evidence is there. Make of it what you want. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching. If you guys want to give me a prediction of your release date, I'm sure many people still think it isn't coming out this year, but I'm just giving you the evidence. I mean, it makes sense for it to come out this week, and I wanted to come out this week. It'd be great, and it runs good, and it's got all of the interiors and all the new areas to explore, the new weapons, weapon customization, Yeah, it would be pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, feel free to leave your predictions in the comment section below or tell me I'm completely wrong. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and all good stuff. Make sure to get your ticket for the hype train, and I'll see you guys when the hype train eventually arrives at its final destination, aka Standalone is out. I'm predicting Tuesday, but if I'm wrong and it's 2014 and it's still not out, I'm sorry. But I'll see you guys next time.